Alright, so this is a coordinate plane. I drew out some of it, but I was going to fill the rest of it in now. So this horizontal axis, horizontal is side to side, this would be your x-axis. And then the vertical one would be your y-axis. Okay? The point in the very center right here, that would be called the origin. Alright, and that would be 0.00. Okay? If you'll notice, this is 4 different sections. These sections are called quadrants. Alright, quad meaning 4, so there's 4 of them. And the reason I started at this one is because this would be the first quadrant, and we usually represent these with Roman numerals. So this is quadrant 1. This would be quadrant 2. This down here is quadrant 3. And then this one over here is quadrant 4. Now the way that I help my students remember that order, because it's kind of backwards of what you would think, but remember this whole plane right here is called a coordinate plane. So I tell them to draw a C, and the way that you draw that C is the order of the quadrants. So that will help you remember what quadrant goes where. So the way that you use a coordinate plane is they give you a point, an ordered pair is what we call it. Alright, so let's just say they give you the ordered pair 2, 4. Okay, so this first number they give you is the x coordinate, and then the second one is the y coordinate. And that's important because you need to know which direction to move. So if the first one is the x, then you're going to move on the x-axis. The second one's the y, so then you move on the y-axis. I always tell my students, think of it like a baby. Before a baby jumps, so before a baby goes up and down, they have to learn how to crawl or walk. So we're going to go side to side, like crawling and walking, before we start jumping. Okay? So the 0.24, you always start at the origin, which would be 0, 0. And since it is a positive 2, I'm going to go over positive 2. And then it's a positive 4, so I'm going to go up 4. So you go over your 2, and then up 4, and that would be my point. Okay? So all you're doing is following your lines, following your numbers to where you need to be. Okay? Let's do another one. Let's do -3, 1. Okay? So once again, I have to go left and right first before I can go up or down. So since my number is a negative number, that tells me that I have to go left, because think about it, on a number line, your negative numbers are to the left. I don't go down yet, because remember, you have to go left or right first before you can go up or down. So I'm going to go over to -3, and then my second number is a positive 1, so I'm going to go up to positive 1 right here. So that would be -3, positive 1. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Let's go with 4, -3. Okay, 4, -3. So if I go, remember, over 4, and I'm going to the right because it's positive. So over 4, and then my second number is negative, so that tells me I need to go down. So I go down 3 and plot my point. Okay? So the type of question you might see on an EOG or on a test would be something like, given the point, let's say 6, -5, what quadrant would that put you in? All right, you can plot it if you want to. You certainly can. You know, if that's what's easiest for you, then you can do that. But then if you think about it, you really just need to know your directions, your negative signs and positive signs, because think about it. This first number is positive, so that means I have to go right. And then the second number is negative, so that tells me I have to go down. So if you go right and down, that puts you in quadrant 4 every time. Okay? So another thing that I always get my students to label on their coordinate plane is I make them do like this, because the numbers in this quadrant are going to have to be positive. So if your ordered pair is positive, then it has to go in quadrant 1. Okay? Quadrant 2, think about it, you have to go left first, so that first number has to be negative, and then you're going up, so that second number has to be positive. All right. If I'm going to quadrant 3, all right, what direction am I going first? Well, first I'm going left and then I'm going down, which would mean that both of these numbers have to be negative. All right, and then the last quadrant, quadrant 4, I'd be going right and then I have to go down, so that would be positive first and then negative. Okay, so if both numbers are negative, they would go in quadrant 3. Both numbers are positive, they go in quadrant 1, excuse me. And then you have to pay attention to your signs for 2 and 4. Don't get those confused, but just think about the direction that you're going first to help you figure out what quadrant it's in. All right, left always means negative, right means positive, up is positive, and down is negative. Okay?